No hipsters.
No hipsters.
No hipsters pod.
Look
Hi.
who it is. You got
It's
the.
me.
I see. Listen, I'm not thinking should I change my light because you look good. Okay, is that better? I you go with the yellow. You know what?
You look great.
You look good too. You might want to move the camera down a bit though. We don't see the top of your head.
Let me make sure my edges get in here.
All right.
Christmas.
Same to you. Merry Christmas. You look good. Let's get to it. So, episode 52. Unfortunately, you couldn't make it for the 50th episode. We missed you, but
Missed you guys.
all good. All good. Yeah. So let's talk episode. Yeah, we still can't see you on the camera, by the way.
Oh, you know what? There we go. All right.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. I'll be starting for the next few minutes because I was scrambling to get things ready, but it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So, all right, let's get to it. I don't know if you heard the Jay-Z interview with Genius, all with Alicia Keys, and all the stuff he was talking. There's been varying opinions about that. Let's start from the top. The first thing was that no one can see him in the Verzuz.
Nobody stand on that stage with me. I ain't gonna lie. No disrespect. Everyone's amazing and done what they done. No one can stand on that stage with me. I'm just telling you guys the real.
I feel you.
There's not a shot. There's not a chance in hell that anyone can stand on that stage with me for I don't know how long it is. 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours.
Right.
Look,
I
you gotta stand in front of the Grammy Family Freestyle Live. No one's ever even seen me perform that. Like you gotta stand in front of that. That ain't gonna never happen, man.
A lot of people seem to agree, and I have mixed. I mean, I do think he is, as of now, I guess, still kind of the greatest of all time. But I really do think there's some contenders for that spot. So, what were your thoughts on that?
So there's two different arguments I'm hearing here about like who's the greatest of all time, and then the second is who can see him in a versus battle, which I don't believe that the two have even the same answers.
Okay.
So I think versus kind of creates a completely different platform for us to kind of judge artists,
Right.
because it also allows different limits on what you're able to do. Because versus lets you also be a writer and pull songs. So I've heard people actually say that they want to see Jay-Z and Kanye. And I was like, well, it would be some of the same songs. Because early Kanye and Jay-Z, that's like, I can't see Kanye doing a versus against Jay. And then people also had mentioned Drake.
Okay.
And they mentioned it kind of as like a generational battle where like, the old heads kind of would more so fall in line with Jay.
Of course.
And the younger generation will fall in line with Drake. And like there's just a completely different dynamic with verses that I think people
right. I mean, and I know that people get upset when I say this, but like I really think at some point you have to take popularity into consideration, and when you do, then there are a few solid contenders, right? I think as much as I actually don't like Kanye anymore, I do think Kanye might be able to see Jay-Z in the verses.
It would be some of the same songs, though.
True, facts. But I mean, I don't think
Kanye would ever do that. Like, Kanye probably is the only artist I think that would have the ego to try to. But I feel like their behind the scenes relationship would never allow him to even be able to. Like, how do you decide who gets to use what songs?
Right, I think you're sleeping on Jay's ego, Drake's ego rather. I think he would.
True. But like in terms of being a rapper, Jay is easily better than Ye. In my opinion. Am I wrong? Rap skills alone, we're not talking about producing skills. We're not talking about
and we're talking about this is Drake versus Kanye. We're talking about
right.
I don't know, and this is coming from me. Because you know how I feel about Kanye these days. I don't know.
We will. I mean, this would essentially be like the concert of the year if they ever were to have
Of
a
course.
versus battle between
Right.
any of those interchangeable three artists.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's part of the reason why we will never live to see it.
Right. I mean, also, I think the primary reason is that Jay-Z is apparently very sensitive and subconscious. Funk Flex has said this multiple times that he's really super sensitive.
I'm going to tell you about Jay-Z. I'm going to tell you about Jay-Z. You want me to tell you about Jay-Z? You want me to tell you? You know, you want me to tell you why he can't be on social media?
Why?
Because he's the most sensitive motherfucker on the planet, and he can't take niggas in his comments telling him the truth.
Oh, what? What's that?
Okay?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay?
Damn, okay.
He can't take it. He can't open up social media. You know what Jay does? He watches social media from a fake page.
So, of course, because he is so legendary, he gets you like, no one can see me, no one can this. But I think it's really, there's also a fear there. And
I feel like it's all Sages. Look at Nicki Minaj. Every time somebody say something to her, Brittany.
You're a Sag too. Right.
I'm sensitive.
I see. But yeah, it's interesting. I really, first of all, I think any artist bigger than a certain level and relevant beyond a certain level today wouldn't be smart to do a versus. I think it kind of debases you just off the top, because you're kind of exposing yourself to a certain type of comparison that I just don't think a legend should subject themselves to. So it wouldn't be smart for Jay-Z or Drake or Kanye to ever do anything like that. So that's why it wouldn't happen. But yeah, I think Jay was really talking to shit. I actually thought it was weird that he even answered the question at all. I
did not.
Oh.
I expected it. I expected Jay to answer the question. I expected Jay-Z to answer it the way that he did.
Okay.
But I'd also kind of felt like that bravado is quietly about him, and I think that's why him and Kanye do kind of understand each other in the sense that like there is that ego about them and that understanding of like my artistry has exploded beyond most of my peers, so like I don't really have to be humble. This is me coming out once in the blue moon that I come out and speak.
The whole thing was surprising. The fact that he did like a Twitter Spaces conversation, I thought was even like strange in itself. But yeah, interesting. Now the second comment he made, which I thought was crazy in a way, was the whole MJ Beyonce comparison.
And Michael Jackson was so good because he was around his brothers, singing and dancing since he was 7 years old. Right. So, of course, Beyonce is going to be, of that level. And to me, and it's my personal opinion, Michael Jackson he had Motown 25 where he did the moonwalk. And that was amazing. That was an amazing moment. But, find me a concert that's Coachella. That was is culturally relevant and technically thrilling. And thrilling is just a word because I didn't want to say another word.
I'm not even arguing the point about who's better. I think Beyonce is a better live performer. I think she's the best live performer ever. But as far as just popularity, I'm not even sure what Jay-Z meant either. But as far as just like impact, I don't think anyone's coming close to MJ. Beyonce is the closest to that, but I don't see it.
I think that it is amazing that Jay-Z literally like holds her up so high, and I do agree that Beyonce is one of the greatest performers of our time. Personally, I have not seen any footage that would compare, but I also feel like it's not a fair comparison to make, just because like, the entire landscape has kind of changed in the music industry, and what MJ was able to do at the time was transformative for that time, and what Beyonce is able to do for this time, like change the world with the digital drop, all of that was basically the same thing that MJ opened the doors for her to be able to do.
I get okay. I see where you're going with that. In a way, the digital drop was cute. It was nice. It was great. But what I mean is, and to your point about the landscape being so different, is that because media is so fragmented in a way where like we can't all like be watching the same thing in the same way, like how like if you missed a show back then, you missed it. But now you can like stream it after the fact,
Mhm.
watch it on demand. So like people's attention, like there's so many ways to like break people's attention. There are more TV channels, there are more artists, there's more of everything, right? So to hold everyone's attention that way, the way MJ did, the way all the stars did back then, I think is harder. And so
Yeah.
because of that, you're not going to get people, you're not going to see people like, have like 100,000 attendance for a show in the same way MJ was doing on a regular basis. I mean, Beyonce did that with the last tour. She had she does stadiums now, so she has like 80,000 shows. But like the way he did it, as often as he did it, and the kind of reaction he got from people, I think was a product of the time. And so in that
all
way,
over the world, to get that reaction globally is amazing.
Right. Give me 1 second.
I will definitely say this about Michael Jackson and a lot of the performances that I was able to watch, because I wasn't blessed enough to be at any of them. A lot of the stuff that I have watched, it is amazing, and I don't think that enough people in our generation are able to even access the number of different performances he has available on the internet. But yeah, it's a different time frame. So to have the discussion now is difficult, but like for a lot of the old heads in the music industry, that's the standard.
It's funny. He also said he forgives Lil Mama, which I thought was.
He said that.
Jay, are we forgiving Lil Mama all these years later?
Yeah, of course. Come on, don't do that. Yeah, of course. Like,
Good.
that's our sister, man. We love her. We love her.
For sure.
I wouldn't recommend people just jump on other people's stage, but
Right.
we don't wish her no harm.
Nah.
That's corny. Like,
Good. Yeah. I wasn't wishing her harm. Don't make me out to
No,
be the bad
not
guy.
you.
Don't get me in trouble. I still got to be out in these streets,
me.
though.
No. You asked me the question. Like, no,
You're
I don't.
crazy.
I shouldn't have said we. I was actually talking about we when I said me and Alicia. But
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We.
Like, of course not. She's a New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? She got excited. So that things happen.
A lot came out of the interview. Like, he also, Alicia Keys is going independent.
I'm so excited because Keys is actually the last album that I have on a major label. So I've been with this same label for 20 joints and songs in A minor, and Keys reflects the very last record. And I'm super proud and I'm super blessed, not only for the longevity, but just for, like I said, the love and the passion that remains.
This album is her last in the Sony Music Group family, which she's been in for the last throughout her career. She was first on J Records, and then she was on RCA. We're going to the last week of the year. I'm actually writing a post about the best music of the year. It's not posted yet, but check it out. It will be on nohipstersallowed.com. And so let me know what your favorites were. I thought it was going to be easy, but I had a short list of about 12, 13 songs, and have been struggling to get it down to 10 because I love those 13 so much. So what were you listening to this year? What is your favorite? And this could include album cuts as well. Go.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So my favorite, everyone that has been getting like super heavy spins from me this year. I never check the recap of like who you've been listening to because I already feel like I know what it's going to say, but it would definitely be Thames. Crazy Things gets played very often inside of my my loop. I would say Megan Thee Stallion for probably the second year in a row. She's very high on my rotation.
And I hate to say this because I love her as a person. I can't get with her music in the way that I want to.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I like her as a person doesn't match my reaction to her music. It's always like, okay. Like I'll keep trying because I do like her a lot as a person. The music, I don't know why.
I've been a Megan fan from the first little
mixtape
style that she did. Yeah.
Okay.
Then the Tina Snow mixtape really pulled me in where I was like, this girl is it. But I would say from her last album, she has a lot of like songs that I kind of felt like, all right, we didn't really need this. Maybe this is for you, but it's not for me. But it's a few songs on there that really show her lyrical ability. It really shows like just the way that she's able to kind of tell her story.
Right.
And I think it's really different from a lot of the new rap girls, but at the same time, she's ahead of her game. She's on my top played for this year. I will also say on my top played for this year, of course, is WizKid, because I followed that man around half of this country this year.
Oh, I saw. How do you feel?
I'm glad I didn't get COVID because.
Right. Listen, I saw your response to the tweet the other day, and they said, if 2 years in, how have you avoided? I just said, if not for God. Because...
If not for God. Okay.
Like,
and won't he do it?
Right. Because when I got the negative result today, I was like, damn, I made it another day. Because I've been wilding.
Risking it. I'm risking it. I'm like, what did Chris say? I'm winging it. I'm winging it. Like,
definitely. So, I mean,
but I will say I had fun at the concerts. I obviously didn't go to the right one because London apparently got the WizKid concert of the year. But he's in my top 3.
Okay, what songs?
So it would be Wiz, Meg, and Thames.
Give me songs. You give me Thames. You say crazy things. Give me what songs from Meg, what songs from Wiz. I need single. I need songs. Give me what, like, let me know what I should do.
Specifically, if you listen to the Southside Freestyle,
okay.
If you listen to Megan's Piano, those are my go-tos for Meg.
Gotcha.
And for Wiz, right now, the new collab he has with Burna Boy.
Okay.
That's definitely like right now. It's a really good vibesy song, which I feel like if Outside was open, like that would
gotcha.
That would be going off.
Unfortunately, it's about to get locked down again, so.
But we are enjoying it virtually.
Right. All right, for me, I'll say Thames Replay. Crazy Things is good. But Replay is really, that's my shit. Hey Malika, I see people I know joining us. Hey Malika. Yeah, Replay is my shit. What else is really good? Celebration by Joe Boy.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That was
So it's funny. That song weirdly makes it's supposed to be happy, right? But it makes me sad in a way. Do you get that feeling? So it's like it's positive, like celebration, but it's also like like man, celebration after I've been through it type shit. So
I can see that.
So it's cool. Yeah, so Joe Boy is actually, I think, of the new artists this year, probably my favorite. Who else is really doing good stuff? Joe Boy, of course. I mean, I'll say technically it's a song from last year. Essence, of course.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say the Essence remix because the remix was put out this year. And plus you got Raheem and Justin.
Essence is like it's having like its second year of like.
Right. Yeah.
I don't even understand a song being the it girl for this long, but like, girl, go ahead and knock Fall and If right out of their slots, child.
Please. I mean, if it's had its run. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's do Essence. Who else is really good? Some of those tracks. Also, I think Test Drive on the Ariana Grande Deluxe. I don't know if you've heard that one. Good one. I'll say that. Damn, I had a whole note. But if I leave the live, it'll lock us out. But I had like a whole list of songs. But those are the ones that come to mind right away. I thought that Weekend and Post Malone song from a few weeks ago was pretty dope. Yeah.
How do you feel about Peru with Ed Sheeran on?
I've heard it, and Ed Sheeran bodied that. Now I'm not crazy about Peru like the way everyone else is, but I thought Ed Sheeran like elevated that, and that seems to be the general consensus about the like people are not as averse to his addition in the way they were to Justin on Essence. So.
I was more open to him being a part of it. And I think that it's really hard for me to accept. It's hard for me to accept artists kind of jumping on certain tracks only because I kind of feel like with mainstream artists jumping on tracks of just genres that they don't even really kind of submerge themselves into, it doesn't always feel organic or like it flows. It just kind of seems like very forced for this particular album to elevate whatever they wanted this track to do. And when, you know, like Justin Bieber jumping on Essence, everyone kind of was like, this is a random matchup when you had a perfectly good collab already. And with Peru, it's like, well, Ed Sheeran listens to Afro beats, and we've actually seen him like kind of divulge in between like world music and kind of pop music. So that was more open
here's an idea.
Before I heard it.
Do you think his being British helps in a way, in the sense that it's maybe not as jarring to hear like American or like a North American, since Justin's Canadian, but like I think because the Brits tend to already listen to that kind of music, it doesn't seem as like far-fetched, I guess.
Yes. Hi, Alex. I think honestly, truly, I don't look at Justin Bieber as a Canadian as often as like I probably should, because I kind of feel like he was adopted by Usher when he was a wee child and moved to Atlanta. And I will most definitely say that it just seems more organic with Ed Sheeran, because it never seemed as though he had like this big American pop star lifestyle where everything doesn't seem like it's a money grab.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Ed Sheeran kind of seems more like about the music artistry. And
they kind
of seem like fans of each other before the collab had even happened.
Right. But here's the thing, and this is what I always say this a lot about how we assign personality traits to people just because of how they look or they present. And it's not always accurate. I think you're saying that because Ed Sheeran has a more like, I guess, subdued presentation. Like he has a scruffy hair and always has like the check, you know, that just is not, he's not glamorous, you know, in your typical way for a superstar. So it's easier to believe that he's about the music as opposed to of Justin Bieber. And I think a lot of, honestly, I think this is how like even Beyonce suffers in a way, where like there's always like a questioning of her bona fides as an artist because they think she's too glamorous, right? But really, but I don't think they question Adele in the same way. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I think you just decided.
It's like we do see a Justin Bieber dating, you know, these supermodels, and then we do see Ed Sheeran, who's kind of kept more to the times where he presents himself publicly. He's talking about music. He's working on music, so it's kind of hard to differ in between.
Right. I mean, but that doesn't mean that they are not. That doesn't mean that they aren't. That Justin isn't as serious about the music or as committed to the music or as since. I mean, do you get what I'm trying to say though? Like. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's a lot of the personality kind of giving play into it. But I would definitely it made me more open to wanting to hear the song with Ed Sheeran on the song than listening to the Bieber mix of Essence. Which I'm glad they stopped playing it on the radio. I'm glad they put an end to that. And I truly thank Black Twitter and social media for driving some of these missteps.
In a way, I mean, the song did still, I mean, because you have to understand that outside of Black Twitter, there's like a whole bunch of white fans that know nothing about it and don't really care. So the song was still popular, and only made top 10 after the Justin edition. Not to say that it couldn't have done that on its own, but maybe it happened quicker because of that, right? So that's that. But also to add to that list, Get Into It Yeah by Doja Cat, which I think every day spent without a music video is a missed opportunity. I think she needs to make a video for that one. And yeah, that's what I have top of mind right now. Top of mind. Yeah, no others are coming to mind. But yeah, those are some of my favorite from the year. And the Save Your Tears remix, The Weeknd and Ariana, I thought was dope. Yeah. So, and also that song with the Kid Laroi and Justin, which is very much a Blinding Lights redux, called Stay. I don't know if you've heard it.
I don't think I have.
It wouldn't surprise me if you haven't. It wouldn't surprise me if you haven't, right? Because I only just heard it like this week, and it's been #1 for like, or in the top 5 for like 2-3 months now. Oh. Right, but it's crazy how like a song can be huge and just completely like escape, you know, a lot. Like you don't even have to try to avoid it; you just will, because the way we consume it. And it goes back to our previous point about popularity, right? In the 80s, there was no way a song would be that big for that long and everyone hadn't heard it. But now you have songs that can be #1 for 7 weeks the way it was and stay in the top 5 for months after, and you still haven't heard it.
Hi, dear. I think yeah, the way that we consume music is different. Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why I loved coaching, because it keeps me around like younger generations who kind of open up like different ways.
You coach now?
I've actually been coaching on and off for about 10 years with gymnastics and cheerleading, and I did step back into the gym for a brief hiatus. But like you get to be around like the young kids and hear what they're listening to and how they're listening to it.
Right.
And a lot of like the younger kids who I coach, they consume music via TikTok and YouTube, and those are like their main streams of consuming music. And I have to sometimes think like, oh, well, Spotify and Apple Music and Tidal are like my main ways of receiving music, but a lot of the younger generation aren't paying for those subscriptions. And they're using a lot more of their free time to be able to find these new artists before their sounds change, before they actually develop like whatever their brand is supposed to be. So yeah, TikTok literally will blow up a song and you'll realize that the only part of that song that was hot was like these 3 lines that people are.
See, I've heard that. I guess I'm of the unpopular opinion that oftentimes I usually like the whole song, because I saw like, I think it was Francesca Lee, one of those like viral comedians on Twitter, and she was saying how like she didn't like the Willow Smith song, but she'd been hearing it on TikTok, and she was like, she heard the whole thing. She's like, that's my shit though.
Come on.
Right. Yeah.
That was a good song.
Exactly. That's what I said. But she says that the only 30 seconds she likes was whatever she heard on TikTok. Let's take a very sharp turn away from music, and let's talk about the Meg and Tory situation. Tory's trial has basically started. They did preliminary hearings this past week or two, and everything that's coming out is in some ways sounding like maybe he didn't shoot her. Now, I still for some reason think he did, but things such as the gun, or I think gun residue or something of the sort was on, I guess her name's Kelsey Nicole, the other girl who was in the car. And so people, and of course all the...
Kelsey shot her.
What do you say?
It's giving Kelsey shot her.
Possibly, right? But I mean, we don't know. And so I guess, so basically you're answering my question. You are starting to believe that it wasn't Tory?
No, I still think it was him. It was him. It was him. Okay. I have like not my intuition.
Okay.
And also just good sense, like the way that things are playing out and the number of people that are kind of just releasing little tidbits of information. It's just kind of just like, there's no way that you're not implicated in what was happening. Like right. Whether Tory shot her or Kelsey shot her, I think the most saddening part about the whole entire situation is the fact that like she was shot and she was out with her friends.
Right.
She wasn't out with like random people. She was out with her friends. So it's kind of like it's a lose-lose situation, and she's still getting put through the mud and dragged through the ringer. And it's like there's nothing that she did to these other people. Like it's very obvious they didn't find residue on her.
Right. Can you imagine if it turns out that it wasn't Tory? Like, can you imagine just what Twitter would look like that day? It will be bad.
If it turns out not,
It will be bad. It will be like whatever they did for Jussie Smollett. It will be like times 10 of that.
oh, Jussie, oh my God,
Jussie, who's just been found guilty.
Jussie embarrassed me, okay? Because I defended him. I defended Jussie. I did. And there were a lot of straight black men that I had to apologize to. And I never want to be that embarrassed ever again in my life. I never want to go
I'm
on
proud to
apology
say
tour like
that I never believed Jussie, but I'm also a very skeptical person generally. I mean, that aside, I don't think you have to be very skeptical. If you saw what like the initial reports about the story,
it sounded wild. It did.
Yeah, too wild for me to
But
believe.
I don't think he thought out all the details. It was kind of like, oh, they were yelling MAGA, but then the people didn't really match. Like,
but it was just so crazy how I mean, and this is not to call you on the carpet, but it was so crazy how so many people were like ready to believe, like, yo, like this story is crazy. Like, okay, so you were at 2 a.m. you went to Subway, and they knew you were going to be there, and at that precise moment, and had like a noose, and we're ready to like it's crazy.
Jussie is the worst kind of villain right now. He is the worst kind of villain. And the thing is that people are comparing him to the Karen in New York in Central Park, and they're saying it's similar. But the thing is that people are still also sympathizing with him, and it's difficult for me to join those people because how do you still feel sorry for somebody who
some people have decided that they're gonna die on that hill. It's a little weird, but some people have decided that that he's not lying. I don't know why, but
I mean, and there's some people who also leading up to his sentencing, I had read Mama Tina Knowles, her post saying that, she hopes that, he doesn't get too bad of sentencing because what he did was terrible. But, this woman got off with community service basically for lying about a black man. And so let's not hold him, let's not hold his feet to the fire too much. And the thing is that I get it when people preemptively jump in to make sure that a black man isn't prosecuted, but I also kind of feel like, wait a minute, let's hold his feet to the fire for a second, because what you did is a little bit crazy. You embarrassed all of us, and I think that should be like the #1 rule in all black households, where it's like, when you leave this house, don't embarrass us.
Facts.
You are actually an actor who understands what your platform was, who understood how many people would catch wind of this story.
Now, so he got politicians on the hot seat. Like, it was crazy.
Maxine
Waters out here deleting tweets. Nancy Pelosi out here deleting tweets. Like, it was crazy. And it was a very thoughtless thing to do. And he's actually kind of an idiot also, because just the story was stupid. But
and then his whole entire family is now being kind of like looked at like
they're crazy.
Like, Journey didn't deserve this.
Right, and she's a writer because she still defends his story still. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, in like 2007, I believe, Jussie was stopped for like a DUI and like lied that he was his brother, gave them his brother's name, which to me is a very telling incident. Like, this is not a person that you can trust. Can you imagine trying to sell your brother up? I'm crying.
For a DUI? Yes. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I had to make a little confession. I may have lied and said I was somebody else and I've been pulled over, but it wasn't nothing big like that.
No, but I mean, did you give a real name?
I did.
Of course. Yeah,
real name, real birthday, real address. So sorry, Sally. But I never got any tickets in her name. They let me go. Now that I've got that off of my chest, I know I can make it into heaven. But let's move on.
Who are you?
I will say this. If the police pull you over, technically you're supposed to have your license on you. And if you can't find it or you left it in the house, technically it's a jailable offense. But if the police officer is nice enough to just look up your information, they'll just let you go.
So who is this Sally to you? I no longer care about Jussie. Let's talk about you and your behavior.
Don't you worry your pretty head. I know that I did not get any tickets in her name, but I also saved my ass a few times. And honestly, truly, Jussie's situation is much bigger. Okay? Is it about me or is it about Jussie? What are we
No,
talking
but
about here?
so it's just is Sally your relative?
Is it about me? Is this about me or Jussie?
And it's now about you. Let's talk about Sally. Who's Sally to you?
It is my relative. It's my sweet little sister. No tickets in her name though. And it's been a long time since I had to do that. But I will say that Jussie is kind of already flexing what his family's power was able to do, just feeling comfortable enough kind of doing what he was doing. Like, I don't think he thought ever that anybody would kind of track it back, and if they did, that it would be something that he would be able to smooth over.
Yeah, he didn't think that one through. You're like, so you think you're going to tell people that was a hate crime, and you as an actor, it's not going to be like, nah, he wasn't thinking that one through at all. At all.
Where has a hate crime gotten that much media coverage?
I mean, when has a hate crime involved a celebrity? That's the first question.
Oh, true. I mean,
Right.
I'm pretty sure something happened. We just don't know about it. But I just kind of feel like even still, like for it to have gotten the amount of media attention and traction that it got, it's a little bit different than a little speeding ticket. Okay.
Oh no, for sure. I mean, that's still questionable, and we will talk about that offline. But I mean, I think Jussie made a big mistake. It sucks because I think his career might never recover from this. If it does, it will take years. But yeah, unfortunate situation, and yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. There is one person on my Twitter timeline who he has known that Jussie Smollett was the evil villain all along from the very beginning.
Aside from me, okay.
Yeah. It was another person. There was another person that knew Jussie Smollett was the villain. And from the very jump, he said, I can't wait until Jussie goes to jail for what it's mine. He's doing. And I literally, from the beginning, remember just cussing him out like, this is so insensitive. You're saying this. We don't even know. And it could be this. And I had to give him an apology.
Right. So the unfortunate thing about things like this, and this is why I was quiet about my skepticism, is that you can inadvertently give credence to bigots, in the sense that I think his line and you think his line, but you think his line because you're a homophobe. That's not why. I just think
you think everybody lying. Yeah.
Right. I think he's lying because of the facts. But unfortunately, sometimes when people have the same position on an issue, it can look like you guys have the same beliefs when that's not the case. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I was cautious about, like, just saying right away that I thought he was lying, because at the very beginning, the only people saying he was lying were either the MAGA people who felt the need to speak up for their sect because he invoked MAGA in the lie, and also people who just were generally homophobes, right? Just like, whatever, yada yada. And so that's why I was slow to like publicly say anything about it. But yeah, from the very beginning, I thought, from the moment I saw the Stickman drawings that were sent to the studio, I'm like, Justin needs to stop playing on everyone's time. Like, it was stupid. It was stupid.
It was. Yeah. And I genuinely and truly kind of feel like this is such a step backwards, and at the same time, it's a lesson.
For sure.
I think that and I can just say this personally, in my own quest to kind of be vigilant in making sure that, people who aren't allowing these safe spaces for people to exist without interruption, I also did not necessarily take the time to realize that Jussie be lying. Jussie Smollett is a liar. So, like, that's just kind of where I'm at with that.
Right.
So, lesson learned.
For sure. I mean, I still don't think he should go to jail, but lesson learned. Hopefully he gets, like, probation or something.
Community service.
Right. But unfortunately, because he's made this thing political, there are lots of people who now have an axe to grind. So I'm actually worried for him now. but hopefully he can avoid jail time because it's not. I don't think it's anything worth being locked up for, in my opinion. So
I agree.
Winners and losers, Teresa. Since you're the guest, I will let you go first. Give us winners and losers of the week, and then winners and losers of the year, because this is the last show of the year.
Oh, yay! Okay. So the winner of the week for me is going to definitely be a couple people that had some pretty solid weeks closing out. And some pretty solid. I will say the winner of the week is definitely Omarion Virus. I think that Omarion Virus is kicking all of our asses, and that's why we're doing this interview like this. Omarion Virus is definitely the trending topic, and who knew that just when you thought she had sis backed up against the walls, she would come back swinging.
Right.
I can definitely say I didn't see this coming. And hopefully enough of the general population builds up enough of a immunity to COVID-19 and us getting Omarion, and everyone is able to heal and be healthy from home and have happy holidays, just like Omarion's having. I think that the loser would be, I would definitely say that the loser is, and just like that, the Sex and the City spinoff. They had all the potential to be at the top of this year, to be like the it thing everybody was waiting for.
Right.
And here y'all go, killing off, spoiler alert, killing off one of everybody's favorite people.
But it was right on time, though.
It was. But you know what? They're still living in the shadow of Christopher North and all of his dirty past. And not only that, it was crazy because these are not new accusations about him, because I remember hearing these things back in the day. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's also like are you
referencing the Beverly Johnson accusations or these other ones? I think these other ones are new.
I remember hearing the Beverly Johnson accusations, but I remember also just associating that with that must be what his personality is like, because being a Sex and the City fan earlier on and then getting older, because when I first started watching Sex and the City, I was like in middle school, high school. And as I got into college and you start to kind of being able to separate the characters from the actual actors, and I'm starting to really understand how serious some of these accusations are and how some of them kind of just get swept away. I just kind of felt like, all right, this was his personality that was presented to us in the late 90s, early 2000s. So that's based on what we know. A lot of these artists from the earlier generations never got held to the fire or were nailed to the cross simply because social media was not what it is now.
Right.
So I kind of feel like if anyone knew, y'all knew. And y'all still brought Christopher North into like this whole entire reboot. And then now you got to randomly write off Stanford. Another fave. I just think that the whole in the series, okay? Y'all
isn't that the guy that died?
It is. It is. And we're only on episode 3. Y'all, this has been a disappointment from day one. I'm waiting for Sex and the City reboot to have a good episode. When it does have one, I'll let y'all know. But as of so far, the Sex and the City reboot, trash. They've killed everybody. They wrote everybody off. This why Samantha ain't want to come back with y'all whack asses in the first place. And to be 1,000% honest, I'm happier for her.
She doesn't like SJP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's so.
And I don't blame her. I don't blame her. It all seems kind of problematic now. And those are my winners and losers of the week. The winners and losers of the year, I would say the winner for this year overall, I genuinely feel like one of the people who've kind of had like a comeback year that we really didn't kind of see them being able to move into a happier circle would definitely be Meghan and Harry. I do feel like, you know, they had a winning year. You know, their family has gotten bigger, and, you know, their evil grandfather is kind of gone. And so that shadow is no longer looming over them. And now they have beautiful Lilibet to complete their entire circle, and they were able to successfully escape the royal family. And I feel like that is a big enough, that's a big, like big thing. And there isn't any history of someone being able to escape the hold and the pressure of the royal family. So I say that Meghan Markle, you win, bitch. I will say that Queen Elizabeth, her time is tick-tocking, and you got your stiletto heel on her clavicle. And the loser of the year, I would say, oh damn, we all lose because we're in the third year of COVID.
Facts. Pick me.
We're the losers.
Terrible. That was
We're
very
back at home
appropriate.
again.
Right. Damn it.
Who knew?
Okay. All right, so let me go. Winners of the week. I will say first winner of the week. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Mariah Carey. She's actually number one now on the charts. Historic. You know, there's a whole bunch of records. Apparently, she just, you know, first time a song is number one 3 separate times. So that is big. So winner of the week. I will say just Afro beats in general, just expanding even more. I think people always like question whether or not we need these, world famous artists to work with African artists, but I think it's always a good day. It's always a W when you get like an Ed Sheeran to do a song with an African artist. And I think the Peru remix is just fire emoji. Losers, like I said, all of it, like you said, all of us, this pandemic is just trash. So, yes, we are all the losers, but especially the people who are refusing to either not get vaccinated or don't get boosted at all. The people like Dr. Sebi, honestly, and I hate to say this because I really look up to Shade Room. I think they've been very irresponsible with the way they cover a lot of things, and they do this thing where they just put up something that's either like objectively false or objectively problematic, and they'll be like, thoughts, hey.
And it's for engagement.
I get it, but like it's weird. So like they had this post on Dr. Sebi because he was trending for whatever reason, and they're like, oh, thoughts? And I'm like, this guy used to say that like that your sperm is supposed to be green and that women shouldn't have menstrual cycles. Like this guy is a real life quack. And so what do you say?
He's definitely said some questionable things.
A lot of things. So yeah. So I think my other losers would be people who are not getting vaccinated, but specifically people who are peddling misinformation and still following Dr. Sebi despite a wealth of information to show that he is just not to be believed. T.I. in particular, who made this post that showed, and I hate when things like this happen, he goes Delta, Omicron, and it goes as an anagram for media control, and it was. Now, of course, an anagram should be one word to one word, but, whatever. He did 2 words to 2 words, and it did work, right? Delta and Omicron, those letters turned to media control. Now, of course, like a lot of idiots are going to jump on this, and what can you do, right? Especially when it's true, right? It's true that those letters can spell the same thing. So I think T.I. is dangerous, is basically what I'm trying to say. So he is definitely the other loser this week. And yeah, that's all I have for my losers. Now, winners of the year, I have to say Megan Thee Stallion has had the best year ever. She started with winning 3 Grammys, including Best New Artist, which is a rarity for a hip-hop artist. And then she had all these number 1 singles from the year prior, but still she's riding on the wave of that. And she had this terrible thing happen to her last year that she's kind of bounced back from this year. And now she ends the year with a degree in hand and a new Netflix deal to executive produce content for Netflix. So I think started really strong, ended really strong. I think she's had a better year than most.
I agree. And she started the health clinics too. She's opened up the health clinics. That was her goal with her degree.
That too. And my loser of the year, I wish I had another winner of the year, but honestly, nothing is coming to mind right away.
It's been a tough year.
Right. If something else comes to mind, I'll put like a note of honorable mentions. My loser of the year, though, I will say without a doubt, actually two losers, DaBaby and Tory Lanez. We'll start with Tory Lanez. We know why. Tory Lanez is carryover from last year and him acting stupid this year. Of course, we still don't know if he did, and new evidence is saying he might be, innocent. We don't know. But DaBaby for trying to antagonize Tory, bringing him on stage, and making Tory violate his restraining order, which is stupid on both of their parts, but also all the homophobia and weird shit he said at Rolling Loud.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put a cell phone light in the air. Lady, if your pussy smell like water, put a cell phone light in the air. Fellas. Lights up. Fellas, if you ain't sucking nigga dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights in the air. Let's be real about this shit. Yeah, keep it fucking real. Some of y'all niggas suspect as a motherfucker. Let's be real.
His handling of the controversy, which showed just how terrible of a person he is. And then the Danny Lee situation, which is like, first of all, you have us out here defending Danny Lee, which is a problem, right?
I never want to defend her, and I had to. I never want to. Never. Don't ever make me do it again. Ever.
So you have us out here defending Danny Lee, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I think he's had a terrible year. I've never seen someone squander like their goodwill as quickly as he did. And yeah, I can't think of any other contenders.
Yeah,
DaBaby.
that I definitely forgot about that. Maybe it's because I'm kind of like blocking it.
Right. Oh, and also I feel like so much has happened this year where it's like it was even really tough for me to think like who really stood out as like having a really bad year. And to me, I can't think of anyone else who just had a really bad year. Like, and I think a lot of what made his year bad was self-inflicted. Like,
he would have had one of the best years ever if he would have just sat there and ate his food. Because one, he did not have to be involved with the whole entire Tory and Meghan thing at all. He didn't have to be involved in it at all. I mean, his name was brought back into the media because Danny Lee and his baby mama were going back and forth. But even when Danny Lee made the Redbone song, he was mum. He knew to keep quiet. When they were having issues, for some reason, he did not stick to the rule. And I think that if he would have just sat there and ate his food and quietly just let her be the villain, he would have escaped this. Lesson to you, black men. Let her be the villain.
Terrible. That's our show, Teresa. This was just a blast. I hate that we couldn't do this in person because we plan to, but yeah, it looks like I'll be doing more lives as we enter the new year, and yeah, let the people know where they can find you. I mean, I think your handle's up there, so Reese_Rich on Instagram, and it's the same on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm. It is the same thing on Twitter. So yes, follow me and also follow Time to Cuff Tour. It is a dating and relationships podcast that I do with my good sis Alex, and it's produced by It's Nation TV. We have a pop-up episode coming up on Monday. You can find me on Facebook, just my name, Teresa Kona. And I don't really chit-chat much on there, but I do keep a lot of my work stuff on there and on LinkedIn. So message me because I'm looking to connect with new people.
And what's the handle for the what's the handle for the podcast that you do?
Time to Cuff Tour. Follow Time to Cuff Tour. We're live on Monday for our pop-up episode for Christmas.
All right. Teresa, a pleasure as always, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Ronse.